Welcome back to Small Caps, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Kerry Stevenson, and today I'm speaking with Mark Tucker. Now, he's the general manager. Now, sit back and listen, guys, because there's a little bit of complexity here. He's the general manager of 8 Seeds. Now, 8 Seeds is a division of Verdure. Verdure ASX code is LV1. So once you've heard all of what's going on and the opportunity, do your own research. But the ASX code is LV1. But under LV1, we have 8 Seeds, we have 13 Seeds. Now, we're not talking 13 Seeds today. We're talking 8 Seeds with Mark Tucker, who's the general manager. This is the skincare side of things. 13 Seeds is more the foods and the supplements and that side of things. But 8 Seeds is the focus today. It's a big market. It's a big opportunity. It's skincare. Mark Tucker, great to see you. Welcome to Small Caps.
Well, thank you very much, Kerry. Nice to see you too.
Well, let's just help us out a little bit here, because this is soon to be launched skincare. Explain a little bit about 8 Seeds and where you're at it, because you've had a lot of experience, I think 20 years with L'Oreal in the past. So you understand the skincare market, just how big it is and the opportunity potentially for investors in this sector.
Yes, so I have had experience in all the beauty sectors. So I've done skincare, hair care, color cosmetics, all those things. Skincare is a fantastic business. It only ever grows.
It only ever grows. Wow.
Yep. There was 1 year during the GFC, and it declined 0.8% and then grew 4.5% the following year. That's the only time I've ever known the market to decline. At the moment, there's been a strong trend towards consumers wanting to improve the health of their skin organically.
Yep.
So they would utilize less cosmetics, which covers up the skin, and actually improve the quality of their skin. Yeah, your cosmetics look lovely.
Oh, thank you very much, Mark.
So it's been a strong trend. It's been a trend towards natural ingredients. In the US market, they call it clean skincare.
So in other words, sorry, Mark, to interrupt you, but in other words, taking out all the nasty stuff, because is it the trend going more to more natural products? And I guess what I'm going to is what's 8 Seeds got that's different from all those other ones on the market. This is a big market, and I would have thought quite difficult to get into, but you've had a lot of experience. So for our investor audience out there, I'm not being rude, but what makes you think that you can bust into this market even though it's big?
Well, I think the attributes of hemp seed oil are outstanding. It's a natural ingredient, and it's relatively early days, but my expectation that hemp seed oil is going to become a very widely used product and ingredient because it's so strong with its anti-inflammatory qualities, omega fatty acids, antibacterial, etc. Probably too much information for investors, but it's a beautiful ingredient. And we'll combine it with other natural ingredients in our skincare range. When we launch in Australia, which will be September, October this year, so 6 months away, round figures, we're going to launch with D2C, direct to consumer. The food and oil and supplement side of Verdure have quickly developed a loyal customer base of over 50,000 people. They're regularly buying hemp seed and hemp seed oil products. So we'll market directly to those people who are already committed to the benefits of hemp seed oil. Beyond that, we'll move into some selected e-commerce sites, e-commerce beauty sites, and probably using some of my connections, just selected traditional or bricks and mortar retail as well. So the bricks and mortar retail can help with building brand awareness,
Yep.
Can help with trial. So, people seeing it there for the first time and buying it, and that they might repurchase it online because of the convenience, but that's also a profitable business. So I think got a fairly wide-ranging distribution opportunity. We'll develop up our communications around the attributes of hemp seed.
Let me just interrupt you for a moment there, Mark. The basis of 8 Seeds is around the hemp seed product, if you like. Is that the basis for all the range in 8 Seeds? That's my first bit. And secondly, is there a patented around this? Can anybody get into hemp seed products? In other words, I guess I'm asking, what's the barrier to entry? Could anybody be doing this? Or do you think 8 Seeds is ahead of the pack?
I think we're ahead of the pack. There are very few hemp seed oil skincare brands around at the moment. There are certainly some. But I think we're getting in relatively early. I think with the experience of the business and the other products that already exist, it will really help us to market the 8 Seeds brand effectively. And it is a marketing business at the end of the day.
Right.
But our formulations, we're using 2 very experienced manufacturers who make high-end products. So I'm making sure that our products are going to be beautiful to use. So the sensory experience of using skincare is important. There's one thing about committed skincare users, and you talk about being different, but committed skincare users are always looking for something new and better.
We are. I'm a committed skincare person. I'm always looking for something new and different.
Yep. So you're absolutely typical of a committed skincare user. Always casting their eyes around the shelf to see what's new. Or
and
online.
Also, we always want, without giving the game away too much here, Mark, we all want to look a bit younger. Does hemp seed, because obviously skin is the largest organ on the body, does your hemp seed products, will that help with things like rosacea or acne or some of the other skin conditions that some of us have later in life and others earlier in life?
Yep. So we're targeting 3 segments with our launch range. So there'll be a number of products for general facial skin care. Mm-hmm. So they're the committed people who are looking for something new. There'll be a number of products for people with sensitive skin. The anti-inflammatory properties, antibacterial properties will reduce the likelihood of any response from using skincare. Then there'll be a number of products which I'm calling derma products, and there'll be products that are targeting acne, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, and the attributes of hemp seed oil in combination with some other ingredients. We think that we can develop products which will be very effective. There's some great.
Is that important, Mark, getting those ingredients correct? And is that, I guess, the secret sauce for 8 Seeds? Because I'm looking at this from an investment point of view, because as I said right at the start, 8 Seeds is the skincare brand of LV1, which is the ASX listed code, which has got other things around it. Yep. But I guess what I'm asking is, do you have the secret sauce, which is going to make you guys stand out? And then as a result, I guess the revenue stream could become quite large.
Yep. So the market sizes, for example, the Australian facial skincare market is $2 billion plus.
Just in Australia?
Yep.
Okay.
The US facial skincare market is $35 billion plus. And that's female targeted products. On top of that, there are male targeted products, plus there's body products. So
this is a big market. Are you targeting Australia first and then the US and other markets? So talk to us about once you've launched, which you mentioned is going to be in September, do you start small just with Australia, or do you do an international launch into both US, Australia, and others?
We've got the confidence in our distribution partner, or with our distribution partner, the Hut Group, THG, that we will be able to launch effectively in the US shortly after Australia. So they're a beauty specialist. They understand the market already. The manufacturer we're using in the USA was acquired by the Hut Group last year.
Handy.
So a little bit of vertical integration, but it just means that the communication and the support between us and the Hut Group is really strong. Because they're a beauty specialist, they already know the US market well. I've had a reasonable amount of experience with it. But they're able to support with things such as regulatory guidelines. So in most countries, but particularly Australia and the USA, there are regulators that want to make sure, first and foremost, that the products are safe for consumers to use.
Yep.
So in the US, it's called the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. In Australia, it's called the Therapeutic Goods Administration. Yeah. They're quite similar in many ways, but there are some different product classifications, etc. So a US-based manufacturer is able to understand those regulations properly. So we're able to formulate our products from the beginning to meet the guidelines that are required. There's quite, in some categories in the US, there are quite a lot of additional tests that need to be done versus the Australian market. But they will mean that we can make stronger marketing claims as well, and it will also mean that the products are effective for the purpose they're designed for.
You're already underway with the FDA and the TGA, because I would have thought sometimes those processes can take an awfully long time, because you mentioned we're getting ready to launch in September. I gulp to say that's probably 6 months away. Are you already in discussions with TGA and FDA to make sure that there's a clear pathway to success at the launch date?
So what we're doing is formulating the products so that they meet the guidelines of either the TGA or the FDA. It's probably a bit technical, but there are classifications where you can meet the guidelines. You have to inform either the TGA or the FDA of your product formulations. And they do random tests. There are other specific, more technical classifications where they test every product before you're allowed to sell it. So in the US, we've got 5 products which will fit into that category, where there'll be in vivo, in vitro testing, etc. In Australia, the only product that has to be directly listed with the TGA is an SPF product, so it's a moisturiser with sunscreen.
Right.
In Australia, you can build a moisturiser with a sunscreen protection factor of up to 15, and it's primarily a moisturiser with sunscreen as a secondary benefit.
Yep, that makes sense.
Once you go above 15, it becomes a sunscreen and has to be listed, and each product has to be approved by the TGA. So we're not doing a sunscreen at the moment. We're doing a moisturiser with SPF, which for daily use gives a high protection factor. It wouldn't be enough to go to the beach with. That wouldn't be what we'd recommend, but for just general movement and protecting skin from the sun, that's what we do.
Mike, I want to go back a little bit into your history, because you had 20 years with L'Oreal. You understand the market. I guess distribution is key, and you mentioned the Hut Group, THG, as your international distributor. But are you, let's go back to sort of that launch. Are there going to be any challenges going forward? What I'm thinking in my head is, we're talking skincare with 8 seeds under the Live Verdure brand, which is the ASX code LV1. We haven't talked 13 seeds. That'll be another conversation another day. But I guess what I'm asking is, for investors out there, what do you think is the opportunity for them at the moment? Because our audience is very much an investor audience. They've got lots of opportunities all over the place. This is very specific. It's skincare. You mentioned earlier, in Australia, it's 2 billion. The US, it's 30. These are big markets. So I guess what I'm getting to is, if I'm an investor sitting out there, and this is not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to understand and unpack it a little bit, where you see the value lying.
So the value will be in our ability to create significant revenue relatively quickly.
Okay. And how do you do that? How do you create significant? Is that by getting into some of the big stores, or how do you create that fast?
Well, it's by building brand awareness and trial, and we'll be doing that through direct to consumer, through e-commerce beauty websites, and through select traditional retail. So it's a omni-channel or multifaceted approach. And then you've got to market the brands to build the awareness, so that when people see them, consumers see them, they go, oh yeah, I've heard about that. I've seen that somewhere. I'd like to try that. Committed skincare user, always looking for something new or better, or maybe someone with acne or eczema. And they'll look at it and go, I want to try that.
Yeah.
Because if it can improve my skin condition, make it less apparent visibly, or make it less uncomfortable to live with, that's a really, really important thing.
Does it help with age spots, Mark?
I'm sorry?
Does it help with age spots?
Yes.
It does. Does it?
In combination with some other ingredients, yes.
Oh, I'll be a customer. Hurry up. Tell me how I get it.
Okay.
But if you are launching in September, is there somewhere that people can go and have a look at the moment, or is that still under construction?
We're still to build the website.
Okay.
So we'll probably start that, or we will start it in the second quarter. But to finish the opportunity, big markets, it takes only a tiny market share to actually create a very significant revenue stream. It's high gross margin.
Right.
At least it will be in our case, because I know what is possible to achieve, and that's where we're targeting the highest gross margin, obviously in the lowest cost of goods. So we look at the ratio of the cost of goods to the revenue per unit, or the total revenue. We'll be selling at higher prices, so our cost of goods percentage will be low, our gross margin percentage will be high, and because of the pricing that we're going to sell at, the dollars of gross margin will also be high. So if we can succeed in 3, 4, or 5 markets, if we've got a brand that's growing in those markets and it's profitable, you then potentially can get on the radar of one of the big global players who will like what they see and know that they can, if they acquired it, they can take it and put it in 50 or 100 markets around the world in the next 12 months. So it doesn't really matter too much how many multiples they pay, because they can get a very fast payback. That said, the other opportunity is to continue growing the brands in the markets that we're in, entering new markets, and building a very nice bottom line for the business whilst we retain it. So either way, there are great opportunities.
Well, Mark, we're running out of time. This is how I like to finish all of my chats with people like yourself. And by the way, I'll be a customer because I think it sounds fascinating.
Thank you.
What do you think the 3 reasons are that investors should be sitting up and taking notice of you guys, bearing in mind you haven't launched yet?
Yep. But I've launched a few brands in my time, and
There you go.
so the board of LV1 and the CEO are strategic, but they're also innovative. So they're willing to take calculated risks. And I think that combination can be very powerful. The size of the international opportunity is significant. And with THG, we have a perfect partner to capitalize on that. And then ultimately, whether it's continuing to scale up the business ourselves, or we become or 8 Seeds becomes an acquisition target for a global player, the payback either way can be very significant.
Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. He's done it before. He's doing it again. Mark Tucker, formerly with L'Oreal, now with 8 Seeds, looking to build a globally significant brand. And for investors, it's that high gross margin. It's the international opportunities, the size of the market. Who knew? 2 billion in Australia alone and over 35 billion in the US. That's just 2 markets. They're looking to go global. We'll watch this space with real interest. Mark, thank you for talking to me on Small Caps today, and come back when you're closer to launch and let us know how it's all going.